the man who ran the theater had in fact not been giving any of the money to the school. Said, "Oh, Bob, I thought you were handling that." You know, it was just really, really depressing, right? And then here in New York, I did my last production of it, the one that ran 6 months and was unbelievably successful and unbelievably exhausting. I took no money from any of these productions, of course. You understand at this point I was, like I said, sleeping in light booths at theaters. But we did raise, over the entire 6 months, we took in about $80,000, of which 10%, went to the school. Right? It wasn't much, but I was very happy to give it to them. The owner of the theater, understandably, took a flat 50% of the take. That left 40%. You didn't know I was going to talk percentages, did you? That left 40% to run the show and promote it, to buy ads, to pay for props, to pay the actors $5 a show. You know, that doesn't sound like much, but for 12 actors, it comes to what, 60 bucks? So it's a lot for off Broadway. Okay. I went away. I had to go away. We didn't know the show was going to run 6 months. Couldn't run a year. I had to go away for a couple of weeks for a contractual thing in Denver. When I came back, I discovered that the owner of the theater not only had stolen the other 40%, but had actually taken half of the money meant for the school and had changed it to 5% in her clumsy handwriting in the book. I was pretty appalled. I said, "Okay, you stole the money. We can't run the show anymore. You stole the money to pay the salaries and buy the ads, but you took half the money from the kids." You know, I was just bugging. She said, "Well, it's not like I just stole it, Bob. I needed it." And I just realized I was coming up against the kind of people that, I know, I mean, I was very innocent. I was raised among such fantastic, talented, compassionate, caring, honest people that every time I ran into one of these people, it just staggered me. You know, I just couldn't believe somebody would be evil enough to steal from kids. And that and a number of other things just, you know, I guess you've got the situation. I was burned out, bummed out, a real has-been career-wise, and just so depressed by the prospect of future experiences like these. I came to Ellen Stewart and said, "Ellen, I want to do one last show." And Ellen gave me La Mama for Hello, Bob. Carol was in. Carol played all 12 women. Hello, Bob was a play about, is Clarice here?
No, she's not here.
Oh, Clarice directed a wonderful production, Circle Rep. I asked her to direct it here, but she didn't want to. Hello, Bob's a play about 23 people that a newly famous playwright meets over the course of his success. Directors, old hippie friends, actors, actresses, hustlers, his boyfriend, producers in the company, school teachers, old friends who now live elsewhere, and finally crazies that he meets on the street in the bus, and relatives who don't know where he is, okay? Just simple monologues, all spoken to an imaginary person called Bob, okay? I loved it. I got it on a videotape. You can see it. If you know, you don't have to take my word that it was a wonderful show. The New York Times reviewed it. There is one scene in it, taken from life, where the New York Times interviewer who interviewed me when Kennedy's Children was about to open on Broadway called me backstage at the Golden Theater before the interview came out. He said, "I shouldn't be doing this. It could cost my job, and I'll deny it if you tell anyone. But I was ordered to do a kill job on you in the interview, to make you look like a loony, because the paper is angry because English papers have been criticizing the New York papers for not discovering you, for your having to go to England to be discovered. So the Times has ordered me to make you look like an idiot to get them off the hook." And I said, "Well, thank you for telling me." He said, "If you tell anybody, I'll deny it." So I thought 25 years later, when I did Hello, Bob, it was okay to tell the story. So that interviewer is a character in the play, you know, calling me to tell me that. The Times reviewed the play, tucked their review under the chess problem, and said very little besides, "The play indicates that Mr. Patrick must be insane." And that was my farewell to theater. I went to live with family in an upstate town in California. I had been away from the real world for 30 years among theater people. I didn't know what had happened in the real world since 1961. I really didn't know. What had before been characterized by ignorance and complacency was now characterized by fear and panic. What the 60s had done, outside of a few blocks in New York and a few blocks in San Francisco, was scare America to death. And that was the America I stepped into. They were afraid of everything. Just to walk around their house and say, oh, don't stand in front of the microwave, it gives you cancer. Don't eat tuna, it poisons you. Don't, I mean, everything, every move you made. I brought my sister some flowers I picked on a walk, and my brother-in-law said, take those out of the house. Someone might come in that's allergic to them, he gets asthma, and sue me. I mean, there was no moment that wasn't full of fear of poison, lawsuits. There were colored people beginning to move into the suburb my family lived in. My brother-in-law would not let his daughter-in-law come into the house alone. If she came to visit them, she had to stop outside home. He would go out and escort her from the car into the house because some of those black men might rape her. Okay? It was hideous. Everything was terror. And it wasn't just that the terror was irrational, it's that it was terror. And after 2 years of it, I was pretty nuts. But I did manage to write a couple of plays. And I discovered nobody wanted my plays. The plays I wrote, I sent out to every theater that had ever done a play of mine, and theaters that hadn't, and nobody would do a play. This is possibly the fault of the plays. They may be rotten. I did send the last play I wrote in 2004, Where Are You, Doric? To Doric Wilson, who at that time wasn't running a theater.
That's what it was. Awesome.
Already in 91?
Oh, yeah. Oh, 91? Oh, 91, no.
Yeah.
You didn't send me Hollywood. You didn't send me Hollywood Sunset in 91.
Well, whenever I sent.
2000. I mean, 2000.
Oh, okay. Well, okay, I didn't send it to you because you weren't running the theater. Have your own Coffee House Chronicles. Tell the truth. At any rate, I sent out. In 2004, Hollywood at Sunset, which I considered the best play I'd ever written, and I think Mr. Childs and Mr. Wilson might agree, finally got done in 2004. In fact, it received an award for the best production in 2004. This is a play I wrote in 1994. It is not that I am not monumentally grateful to Tosis II for doing it. It's simply that where was the rest of the world for 10 years? And I grew up where I would walk in and say, Joe, I got a play. He'd say, fine, open Tuesday. Or I'd walk in and Speedy Hartman would say, some play's not going to show up Friday. And I'd say, fine, who's here? I'll write one for them. Or I could always go to Ellen Stewart and he'd say, Ellen, I want a date for a play. Or she'd say, Mr. Patrick, those nice people from Columbia can't make it. Have you got a show? You know, 10 years, I can't take it. I'm not built for it. So I dropped out of theater. For a while I worked in PR in LA. For a while I ghosted movies and TV shows. And that work ran out. And now I review what are called adult videos for a living. It's great. I stay at home. They mail me DVDs. I write reviews. You know, I work for 3 companies. One of them pays me to write the reviews. The others just give me the DVDs. So I sell the DVDs to the local video store. It's a sparse living, but it's steady. And I find that I was right all along. I never really belonged in theater. I was very happy to stay in it, and I worked as hard as I had to stay in it because I love you people. I love people who do belong in theater. I love your imagination and your courage and the importance of what you do in molding people's minds and creating in the most vivid way possible through live action images of hope and promise and beauty. And I'm very happy knowing all of you. I am probably more comfortable no longer being one of you. I really was meant to live at home and be a school teacher or an editor or a reviewer or something, because I'm really happier. But I miss you all, and I was going to sing another song, you know, but we don't have time.
Sing it.
Oh, you don't know what you're doing till you do it. You don't know what you're getting into till you've got into it. You don't know what you're trying for until you've tried and won. You don't know what you're doing till you're done. hun. You don't know what it's like till you've been through it. You don't know what you're doing till you do it. You don't know if you've made a strike or if you've made a score. And you don't remember doing it before. But when you hear those people shouting, then you're done with all your doubting, 'cause you realize it's you they're shouting for. They want to see you out there doing it some more and some more. Oh, you never know just what you're doing, do ya? You never know just what you've got until it's gotten to ya. You never know what fun's about until you're making fun. You don't know what you're doing till you've done one. You don't know what you're doing till you do, but you don't know what, shit. You don't know what it is, but you pursue it. You don't know what you're doing till you do it. You never know how far you'll go until you come back in. You don't know where it's at until you've been. And you don't know how to do it till they tell you that you blew it. And you suddenly yell, screw it all, and then, though your face and feet are aching, and your heart and back are breaking, still you realize it's taking 20 men just to hold you back from doing it again. I hope reincarnation is a fact and not a myth, even if I come back named John Smith, 'cause I love what I'm doing. Yeah. I love what I'm doing. Yeah. Long as I got you to do it with. Thank you, my darlings.
So much. You're wonderful.
Yes, I suspect we're going to Phoebe's.
Michael.
I'll see you there.
And in 2 weeks for showing.
Yes, come see Rochelle.
Come see Rochelle. It's
She's
big.
a great talker.
When you can